inconvenience caused was acceptable in their response to us.
Well, maybe
I mean, I'm not suggesting I agree with that for 1 minute. What I'm saying is, given that that appears to be the attitude at the moment, all we can continue to do is plug away at it and try and get them to see some sense, because there needs to be some joined up thinking.
Well, the only way that I see that there will be any action as opposed to tinkering will be if there's a major incident, someone gets hurt. And which is why I'm pushing this so hard. I do not want to see a house fire.
No, Tom, did you?
Well, I was only going to say, I think that we ought to take the ball by the horns in many respects. I think all the stuff you said is we all agree with it. And, you know, when Glenn was talking about the fact, you know, we have got houses that have got more cars per house now than they had.
Yeah.
So that is just a fact. But I think that, you know, you've done a very good job there. I think that we ought to try and broaden it a little bit and take some factual evidence, photographs. We can have something from this company that says, explains what the problem is. I think we should have something written from them to explain what the problem is, so we can use it. And I think, as I said before, if we draft something which is not just West Street, but Station Road, and actually just the axis around all that area, really, because I think that however we present it, we've got to have done a reasonable job on it to be able to show to residents that we have done our best to try and do something with it. Another positive is actually that the scaffold company has gone.
Yes, they've gone.
I've been up there and drive around. They've which, you know, those they have done what they promised. They have got the Hampshire, but they are very. That was a really big lorry, and it's going around the corner. But I think, you know, with respect, Matt, I think that we ought to use what you've got and try and produce a document which explains our case, so that we can actually have something on the basis to show NBC, the county, the KCC as well, and obviously
there was two things that was coming back. Yeah. Sorry, Jackie. So you go first. And
I was just going to say, when we also objected to the additional development that is earmarked for Forge Meadow, which is only going to make the problem in West Street worse, we did support that with some photographic evidence, which of course, as is the usual style, NBC didn't make available to the committee when the application went before committee. So, you know, there is. I mean, I've seen accusation with regards to their behaviour in the media on other developments. Those councillors are being requested to make decisions without full quality facts, and that is a scandalous thing for them to have to deal with.
Actually, can I just say one thing on behalf, because I actually sit on that committee as well, and most of the photographic evidence isn't allowed to be seen on the actual evening. It's only from the officers. But if people want to send in photographic evidence as part of their lobbying, then members can actually look at that. And also members can actually come out and look at the site as well, because that's what we did with West Street. But point taken, people are being told now what way they should decide a decision before it actually happens. But can I just
that in the half a year?
But there's three things that are coming. We've got Forge Meadow. John Meadow is going to come back in as well, which is just so annoying, and also the school.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're trying to do at the moment is to nip it in the bud and actually address the smaller issues, you know, like the odd 1s and 2 kind of units or the infills and whatever, in the hope that when it comes to the bigger ones, we've got an even bigger case to actually, you know, stand our ground on. Yeah. So what we've got to do at the moment is to fight tooth and nail, because all the work that's been going on, certainly with the likes of kind of Hard and things like over the past couple of years, this is all going to come back again. I mean, Harrietsham is being earmarked as a complete building site with another 3 sites coming back on board again.
Well, there's Bell Farm South.
You've got Bell Farm South, you've got Court Arch, and you've got, as well as the ones I've just mentioned. And so there is a lot of work to be done. So I think with the issues that you've rightly mentioned tonight, Mac, I think we've got to keep on top of it, and we've got to try to remain one step in front.
Well, further to what you've been saying and has been said about photographs, gentlemen in the audience made the point about making informed decisions by consulting the religious. Could we not, on our Facebook and website, ask for photographs of congestion by the people. So it's not just us sitting around this table and going, "Oi," it's the people that we serve saying, "Please do something. Look at this."
Yeah, I can't see a problem with that.
I think that's the point I was making, is that it's not just about people sitting around this table.
No,
I think
exactly.
If we outline what the problem is, and it's not going to improve, I think it's about engaging with residents to say, well, actually, when you do see a bus sitting opposite another bus, which has got a bus behind it, take a photograph of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sort of things that we need to show, and we have had problems in the village. We have had gas explosion things going on the station. So there are issues that are, for the very reason you brought it up in the first place, the risk and the safety of the people of the village is paramount, and we want to try and offset by doing this work. And I think if we set our mind to doing a proper job on it, we can actually outline for other things, perhaps, why we need to have some form of sensible parking.
Thank you.
Do you need this left on the agenda for January?
Yes, please. It's going to be an ongoing thing until it's actually sorted. I think we're going to have a
after next Thursday.
update on this.
Okay, which
Thank you.
item 15 on the agenda is the use of Glebe Field for a running club. It's on.
Technically speaking, isn't a running club. It's what we wanted to do is that we see lots of people jogging, running, doing all sorts of different things around the village, and the idea was that perhaps on the first Saturday after New Year, that informally we could get together and run around the Glebe Field over a 3-kilometre sort of track. I think as far as the marking concerned, it would only be involved about 12 cones. It's just trying to get people together to do a bit of exercise, really, and if other people come out of that to say, well, actually, we'll do that in a couple of weeks' time as well, and it gets to be a regular thing. It's sort of following on the park run type of theme, but I think we just wanted in the first instance just to start people getting moving, really. And there's some people that run well, and there's other people that do a little shuffle. I'm back with the shuffle myself. But it's just.
Are you aware that there is an initiative which is being funded, because I'm actually taking part in it, to get women of a certain age out running? I won't say what that certain age is, I'll leave that to your imagination. And at the moment, I go all the way to Larkfield on a Tuesday morning to take part in a 4K jog with a bunch of other ladies of a certain age, and there's funding for that. So if we
What does the funding cover?
it covers a proper instructor to pace set, who's got a first aid kit in her bum bag in case any of us decide to expire on it whilst we're jogging, and who basically keeps us safe crossing the road, because we go out, the area includes crossing the road and coming around the back of Tesco's car park, so we're on the public highway, not all of it, but some of it. We start off on the field. So if it's something that you feel that you want to take forwards, I would suggest that one thing it might be worth doing is approaching and finding out what the deal is with regards to getting a proper pucker leader who's got all the ticks in the boxes.
I think if the parish council are okay with us at least starting off informally.
Yes.
Again, it's
We don't
not.
want a slave driver.
She's
We
lovely.
need a pace setter, sorry.
She's lovely.
But I think that's a helpful conversation we could have. But I think that the idea, certainly from what we were thinking about originally, was just getting people active, doing something.
All ages.
Of all ages, and if it meant that we mark off a 3 kilometre, well, actually, it's just going around the Glebe Field, but we just try and aim to do 3 kilometres eventually. Well, it could well be, but it's just trying to get people.
How many circuits of the Glebe Field would that be?
We'll do a 400-metre circuit around the Glebe Field.
Okay.
So when are you going to start, or propose to start this time?
Well, I'd like to, January. First Saturday in January, we can put it into the magazine, perhaps on our Facebook site as well. But it's just getting those people that want to come out, and particularly young people and families, to actually just get a little bit active. And if they do one lap, they do one lap. If they do the whole 3K, then they do the whole 3K.
Are you going to do it?
No, of course not.
Yeah,
No, I was just about I think in Norfolk that I hope.
It doesn't involve in opening up the field for anything. You know, if people will probably walk to it, some of us will drive and park on the road, but obviously.
I think it's the 7th, isn't it?
The 7th of January.
Well, they'll only involve, what, 5 cones at the most, isn't it?
3, you
1,
said?
2, 3, 4.
Well, I think we'll
Cones,
have to
oh,
look at cones.
cones, I thought it was 6.
We can go the whole 12 cones, you never know.
God, what?
But is the parish council in principle happy with just using it informally for that?
So you're saying the first Saturday is the 7th?
It is 9 o'clock.
Are there any restrictions with the field itself for use of activities of that sort? No. So we're not standing on anybody's toes.
It's not a village.
So how do you want people to get in touch with you? So I'm finding a
Just turn up, isn't it?
Just turn up?
I think we're just going to advertise and say just come along and we'll see what happens. If 50 people turn up, fantastic. If 10 people turn up, 5 people.
We've got one volunteer there with his hand up. So
Possibly got a front of
Is
the-
this a parish council activity or is it an external activity that we are simply allowing use of the field for?
Yes.
He said to give the insurance indication.
Yeah, we're just giving permission.
We're giving permission to somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
can we make that clear? Because
Yes.
we're busy directing people who want to do it to contact the parish council.
health and
So
safety
No, I was
issues.
just
are-
going to say,
it's not health and safety, it's insurance. I'm interested.
Harrietsham Harriers.
Okay, well, good luck, Tom.
Yeah, good luck on that one, Tom.
No, just
running
turn up.
No, all we do is
because I think it's just a
turn up
starter, isn't it?
Turn up and
You know, if something goes on from it, a gentle band.
So I would second the proposal that the parish council allow that activity to take place on the first Saturday in January.
On a glebe field. Yeah.
I don't think we could stop it.
On an external basis.
On an
anyway.
external
People
basis.
walk
It's-
around
it's-
the park.
We're in charge of the field, so
Yeah.
if we didn't want people using it, then
What's the
there's
point
no
of having a
reason why we
field?
wouldn't. Yeah.
Okay, well, item number 16 on the agenda. In fact, 16 and 17, are they almost the same? The public participation.
separately.
Okay, we'll do them separately. Public participation at meetings, Councillor Tom Sands.
Did we vote on an look at?
Yes.
Yeah, but you're all in
It's-
agreement.
Yeah, it's just an
Okay,
agreement.
so we'll be on point of order.
I think I just want to raise this because other councils conclude meetings without public participation, including our sister parish council from Lenham. It's helpful for the public and the parish councillors to have information that may be useful for this meeting, and this is not so for the participation at the end of the meeting. This also may encourage residents to make the points prior to the meeting, which may help us to come to decisions. And so I was going to ask to propose that from the January meeting that we conclude the meeting after the last item on the agenda and amend the standing orders accordingly. I just think it would be helpful for this council to do that, and I think we're following on to traditionally what Lenham Parish Council has done for many years.
I don't think Lenham actually kind of film their meetings, do they?
No, that's next
No,
one.
that's-
That's
no,
next
Oh,
it's
one.
just
that's
public
fine.
participation. Yeah.
Yeah, so has anybody got any questions on that at all?
So we're talking about having a session at the beginning
Yeah.
and not having one at the end.
Yeah.
So are you proposing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is the reasoning behind that, Tom, again?
I think that I'm just following on really from the example of what Lenham does, because their meetings go, their contribution from the public at the beginning of the meeting is excellent. You might not get many people coming to the meeting, but you do get people making a contribution.
Yes.
And I think that would assist with the parish council being able to make more informed discussion and decisions around those issues. A lot of the stuff we want to discuss, that the public will discuss is on the agenda anyway. And if a member of the public wants to raise anything they can do to this parish council, we can discuss it. And I think it's just trying to formalise it a bit and make it a little bit tighter, so that we can discuss things based on information that the villagers give us.
Following on from that then, that takes us back to the point that was made by a member of public at the beginning of this meeting, which is if we want to encourage the engagement, then perhaps one of the things we need to give some consideration to is the descriptions that we use on the agenda in order to inform that, if you like, trigger that level of input from the public. So I think I would be in favour of doing that if we are also thinking we might put a little bit more narrative. Not on every item.
We just need to be careful how big this agenda's getting.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, at the moment, there's hardly anything in the notice board, but last month I didn't actually have room for the agenda. I had to put it over stuff. So you need to bear that. And obviously, councillors don't always tell me.
No.
So if councillors want things on the agenda, they're going to have to give me a bit more detail.
So we should restrict it then to it can only be like the rest of that line, effectively. I thought you don't want a war and peace, do you? You just want to give an indication.
But if we had a number of bullet points, like it said, it just says pay scheme, or whatever else, we could have a couple of bullet points so that the public
As
knows
long as you
what
give them
part
to me
of
enough
it
time
is
to
being
get them on the
discussed.
agenda.
I think that's part of making the meeting a bit tight. That I was saying, I think that's a very valid suggestion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you thinking of extending the time at the beginning, as they do in Lenham? You have half an hour, don't you?
Well, in Lenham it started off at quarter of an hour.
Oh, right.
It
It was 40 minutes the last time I was there.
If there's something major happening, then the chairman allows it to go on. But it's his discretion. He could stop it after quarter of an hour, 20 minutes if he wished to. But
discretion's got to be used.
it's the chairman's discretion.
When you get this evening, it's 5 minutes, but another evening, maybe half an hour. So, but again, if you're going to base it on what you're saying with more factual information that we need on the agenda, then it may well take slightly longer.
The experience at Lenham is that it is useful if there is something that is sort of top of the list in the village, people to have their say.
Exactly.
Perhaps you hadn't even thought of something that they were thinking about.
So are you then going to second that?
Yeah, I'm happy to second that.
Is everyone in favour of that one?
Okay, item number 17 on the agenda, which is the recording of parish council meetings. Tom again.
I just felt that after we've been recording for however long it is,
Since January.
yes, that's been a while, and I suppose I just wanted to touch base with the parish council and the villagers that I've looked at the website and the views range from 15 to 148 with a rough average of about 50. So clearly it serves a purpose with some residents who aren't able to come here and they can get a flavour of what we've been discussing. So I think that's quite useful. I suppose I wanted just to confirm that to ask council if they're happy with recording and thank Thursday for his time and effort. And I would just like to propose that we continue to record the meetings as we do currently, because I think, as I say, whether it was 5 people looking at it or 148, obviously someone is looking at it, and for that purpose it must be useful. So I'm not a great lover of them personally, but I think that it serves a useful purpose of communicating with residents out in the village.
Again, the only point I would make is that we make sure that we can find the published data to that which is appropriate, and that it's the meeting that we put on the website and nothing else.
Nothing else goes on.
Because that's the statutory part.
Yeah.
So.
Well, then you run into another problem, don't you?
No, because that's us fulfilling the obligation and acting appropriately.
Yes, we might act appropriately, but with that camera rolling and with a 15 to 20 minute
That's what I'm
period
saying.
for the public,
We don't put the discussion on. We only put the body of the meeting on.
right.
That's what I'm proposing.
So the public discussion part, if I get this right?
No, I think you find that as soon as we actually sit down and until the meeting is formally kind of finished, and I stand up and walk away, or the councillors do, then we're in a public place. So everything that we talk about when we're in this meeting,
Precisely.
we're in the public domain.
Okay.
But
that's
that then,
That's what's happening now.
Yeah.
We're just carrying on with what we're doing now.
So what we're saying
I'm
is
prepared. I'll be prepared to be overruled by the majority. my personal view, because like Tom, I'm not dead keen on the recording of any of these sorts of meetings. But I do recognise that there are people that can't get here, and it does serve a useful purpose. I just wouldn't want us to be stepping beyond, if you like, what our statutory obligations are. But I'm a one in a bigger group, so I'm really happy just to take a step back from that.
So you're proposing we just carry on as we are?
Well, I've looked, I'm very honest, I haven't looked at all the videos, I'm not all like that, no. But, what I saw is, it is being viewed by people, and I think that we have to consider people.
When the meeting closes at the end, then that's the
it.
Right,
That's it.
okay.
Jose turns it,
When the meeting is
camera off,
formally
and that's
closed.
it.
Yeah, I think that's
It's all the
how it
bit.
should be.
Okay. It's the bit at the beginning when we're all.
So I suppose my proposal is to maintain the status quo.
No, it doesn't
as
until Eddie welcomes everyone. It's not running.
Right. I'll step back.
No, so has anybody else got any comments? Fred? You're looking very
No, I
anxious with that.
I'm just
Can I
intrigued.
just put on record to thank Jose for his time?
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Not for coming here and listening to us, but the following day when he sits at the computer and uploads it all. So
That's
thank you, Jose.
appreciated.
Well done, Jose.
No doubt as well. Okay.
Forgive me, Mr. Chairman, how much notice do you require for a request for participation?
I have. What do you mean? What if you want something added on the agenda?
The public are going to say to you, good sir.
No. They'll just speak at the whatever's on the agenda. They can talk about at the
Forgive me,
meeting.
but someone has got to generate the questions.
No, but they won't. They'll just bring into the meeting, because how it works is if they come to a meeting and ask a question that we actually can't answer at the time, we just get back to them after.
Understood? Yeah.
You don't have to give an answer.
I
that
thought we had to
night.
be in possession of an answer.
No.
No.
No, if we can't answer it on the night, then we get back to them when we've got the answer. So that's not.
There was almost something tonight from the public gallery. There was one person that asked two questions which related to what we were just talking about. And now we've